우승했을 때가 제일 좋았던 것 같아요. 스타리그 우승했을 때. 이번에 좀 마지막 대회라고 생각하고 열심히 해서 뭐 높이 올라가야 될 것 같아요. 그냥 결승은 가야 되지 않을까.
2016년이 저한테는 제일 좋은 순간인 것 같아요. 경기도 많이 보여드리고 팬분들도 많이 생기고 아직 대회도 블리즈컨이라는 기회가 아직 남아있기 때문에 2016년은 저한테 엄청 소중한 것 같아요. 일단은 캐스파컵 처음이기도 하고 블리즈컨이 달린 대회이기 때문에 열심히 준비해서 꼭 높은 곳까지 가고 싶어요.
I think KeSPA Cup is pretty important to me because I have never been to Korea in my whole career. You know, playing 7 years StarCraft 2 and never coming to the place where for a long time, you know, the best players played. It will be pretty sad. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to come and play in KeSPA Cup.
개인 리그 우승할 때가 굉장히 기쁘더라고요. 또 열심히 해서 우승을 2번까지 했는데 또 욕심이 나더라고요. 그래서 이번에 스타리그를 할 때 결승에 오랜만에 정말 올라가고 싶어서 진짜 준비를 열심히 했는데 뭐 결과는 아쉽게 지긴 했어도 최선을 다했다고 생각을 해서 뭐 남은 대회에서도 좀 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요.
Welcome to the KeSPA Cup here in 2016. We are in our group stage still. This is our final group, Group D. And because Valdez is currently sick with a cold, I have Rapid Casting here by my side. How are you feeling tonight, sir?
Much better than Brendan, so of course our thoughts go out to him, and of course excited to be casting the final day of group stages of the 2016 KeSPA Cup. We've had a lot of foreign players, a lot of Korean players advance from this group. Actually, only one foreigner is advanced, and we're about to find out if a second can make it out tonight.
That's right. Marine Lord did drop out 0-4 last night, so Inertio is the last remaining foreign hope here in Group D. He has a tough group ahead of him. He has Maru, a 2-time champion, Classic, a 2-time champion in his group, and Patience, a top finisher in both Star Leagues, who still has an opportunity to go to BlizzCon. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And here are our results. The winner will face Trap, and the second place advancer will go up against Stats. We already have a lot of Protosses in the round of 8, so we could have potentially 2 more tonight if Patience and Classic both advance.
That is true, and while it is their dream to advance, it is also my dream to play in KeSPA Cup one day so I can look just as sick as those massively photoshopped pictures. So I'm super jealous, but these guys are absolutely incredible, so really looking forward to getting a chance to see them play today.
And if you're just tuning in for the first time because you're a Inertio fan, you didn't watch the rest of the tournament, it is a dual tournament format. So this is the kind of tournament that you'd see in the GSL Code S or in Star League in group stages. We have a winner's match, a loser's match, and a final match. And we're going to speak some Korean here on stage, so enjoy that. We're going to turn our English headsets off for the time being.
오늘 과연 어떤 8강 진출자가 탄생하게 될지 저 역시 기대가 됩니다. 자, 그럼 오늘 경기 매치 포인트까지 함께 만나보시죠. 16강 1경기 조성주 선수와 조지현 선수가
Actually, no, we're not. We're going to do this first. I'm so sorry.
Silly wolf.
Silly wolf. This is normally where Brendan throws it, and without him here, I messed
for
up.
kids. But yeah, we get to talk about how awesome these players are, what they've won, and how they have gotten here. Maru has 900 WCS points. That is a crime.
It is a crime, and this is really just due to the fact that his results this year have been purely Pro League based, and that's why he's actually seeded into this tournament, but he's had a rough year individually. Now, looking at Nurchio, obviously, he's 4th in his circuit.
He's like 4,000 more points than Maru. That's just how much better he is.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, it really shows how good he is outside of Korea in circuit points. Obviously, the DreamHack Valencia champion and the runner-up in the circuit tournament there for spring, whereas Classic is the only player ever to have won a GSL Codes and a SSL, the supposed to be Star League. So that's very impressive. He himself had a pretty solid year in 2016, and now we're going to do what I just described and speak some Korean.
네, 오늘 지금 2016 KeSPA컵과 함께하고 계십니다. 오늘 KeSPA컵 저는 변함없이 성캐고요. 오늘도 변함없이 네 분과 경기 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 김울프 그리고 오늘은 발데세신에 보신 바와 같이 레피드가 경기 준비를 하고 있고요. 그리고 JYP 그리고 고 존슨이 오늘 여러분들과 함께 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 인사 한번 해주실까요?
안녕하세요. 브랜든 오늘 아파가지고 래피드 와서 래피드한테도 응원해주세요.
네, 레피드도 오늘 할 말이 많은 것 같으니까 특히나 최근에 그 태풍도 많이 몰아치면서 경제가 좀 어려워지고 있다는 얘기가 있었습니다. 그것이 현재 부패 방지법과 어떤 연관이 있는지에 대해서 한번 설명 부탁드릴까요?
안녕하십니까. 저는 레피더입니다. 저는 텍사스에서 왔어요. 저는 한국말 잘못해요.
네, 이거였습니다. 사실 한국말이 좀 오늘 서툴러가지고 영어에 관련된 부분들만 전달해 드린다는 점을 말씀드렸고 정말 성의 있게 오늘 연습 많이 했거든요. 다시 한번 감사의 말씀 전해드리고요. 자, 우리 쪽도 인사해야죠.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 이제 이렇게 하려고요. I love my global fans라고.
아우어요? 아우어?
I love. 글로벌 팬들을 사랑한다라고 해서 이렇게 준비를 해봤습니다.
그렇습니다. 글로벌 팬들이 최근에 그 박진영 해설위원에게는 사랑을 좀 덜 준다는 말이 있어가지고 조금 더 깊이 줬으면 하는 바람이 있었고 오늘 또 눈여겨볼 수밖에 없습니다. 우리 고 존슨이 준비한 게 있죠?
Yeah. 마이크 컴온.
폴리시 디제도브리 너치오 ความ치행 글로아 또 꽈리 도네이션 플리즈.
부끄러워. 네. 오늘 노치 선수가 폴란드 선수라서 고잉 해설위원이 오늘 폴란드 말 굉장히 많이 준비했는데 마지막에 굉장히 인상 깊은 한 주를 위해서 위에 것들을 준비했다는 생각이 드는데 존슨? 존슨. 네. 한 마디 더 해요. 네.
예.
만족스럽습니까? 오늘 인사?
훌륭했어요.
그렇습니다. 사랑에 힘내 용기를 가져라는 말을 저희가 폴란드 말로 한번 준비를 해봤습니다. 오늘 많은 분들이 그 너치오에 대해서 관심을 보여주고 계신데 실질적으로 너치오 선수가 어느 정도 실력을 보여주게 될지 잠시 후에 두 번째 경기를 통해서 확인해 보시길 바라겠습니다. 먼저 첫 번째 경기 어떤 맵들이 기다려 있는지 지금부터 한번 짚어드리죠.
Alrighty, guys, so that was our little intro there. Kanata lost it, I think, a little bit, but he did do some cool Polish speaking. It was much more impressive than our Korean. And here are our maps and vetoes for this first matchup between Maru and Patience. We do see the Gettysburg ban from Maru. As we have seen, Terrans historically have trouble in the late game versus Protoss on that map, all the AoE there is to offer. And Patience is going to ban out King Sejong Station. The Dasan and Apotheosis bans are, pretty much a given at this point. And we do see Galactic Process sneak in because of the aforementioned target bans for the matchup.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of games on Galactic Process. Obviously, it's one of the newer maps, so more of a tendency to stick towards what these players have practiced a lot on. But they have practiced a lot on all of these maps, so looking forward to seeing really how they perform. Obviously, maybe Maru a little bit of a favorite, but this does mean a lot for the rest of our players in the group, so let's go ahead and get into game.
얼어붙은 사원으로 떠납니다.
Came too far.
In the top left, in purple here in game number 1, it is Maru, the lone Terran in Group D.
And down in the bottom left-hand corner, which is actually the bottom right-hand corner, is the green Protoss player who is, I gotta say, not necessarily an underdog. You can't really call Patience anything just yet, but it might be a little bit more difficult for him to advance, especially with starts like this.
I thought Marine Lord played yesterday.
He's a big fan of Marine Lord, man, but unfortunately he's not quite as lucky.
Well, we'll see if this, will just be canceled. He'll try to transition. It's going to be obviously very difficult to make this work now. He canceled the second gas, and I guess we'll send a second SCV to at least complete the barracks. This is really awkward. Like he needs that to complete in order to get an orbital command. This is kind of a situation that rarely occurs, with the exception of CC first, where you don't complete your barracks and then you just simply can't have an orbital. So Maru is going to lose that first mule, which really allows you to smoothly transition your build out. And Patience just played a little bit safer. So he's in some considerable trouble here builder-wise. I mean, this is not a Idra accidentless CC canceled GG. It's not like the game is over per se. And he did get that eBay down, so that's going to also affect Patience's economy getting jump-started here. But Patience gets a nice little lead from that scout. Very impressive.
Yeah, unfortunately, Terran buildings don't build themselves because then you'd be Protoss. So he actually does need that SCV to stay alive. Nice to see the Zealot first. Of course, very high DPS, so it's going to kill that faster than something like an Adept would. Get that out of the way and get that natural expanded on.
Ooh, the probe gets trapped in here somehow. Looks like he wanted to maybe dip back in, but that's going to cost him, this probe will not be able to go home. We'll see the factory. He could steal the gas, but that's not really a thing in StarCraft 2 in this matchup. It would be a pretty big waste of money, essentially, here. That's not going to give him any extra information. eBay canceled here at the last moment. This will allow Patience now to add his Nexus, coming up around the same time as Mars. But the big story is losing that first mule, man. It's really going to cost him quite a bit of money.
It certainly is. That probe is like, I've had nightmares where I'm that probe and like the Marines coming after me. I can't get through the depot because unlike Marine Lord, some people know how to raise their depots. So this is not going to be quite as good a start for Patience, obviously having that delay, but also losing that first mule, like you mentioned, a little bit rough. Now, you don't normally have to deal with super early Zealots here. It's coming across with that probe, so it does deal better if you can get both of those to hit the Marine at the same time. However, with early pylon pressure, this could be too much for Maru to handle.
Yep, he's just really adapting the build to the scout he had earlier. He knows there's one, less Marine here basically than there normally would be. Now he cannot lose this mothership core. Yeah, this
I guess the probe, that's really good for not having to deal with more pylons.
This has been pretty well executed so far here from Patience, and we are going to see this Adept control the high ground up here, as well as the mothership come up, giving extra vision. Now he's actually going to fly into this Widow Mine. That was a bit of a mistake.
Oh my god, that's actually really bad.
I can't believe that just happened.
He kills the Adept too, so now there's no more high ground vision. Okay, well.
That was a really big mistake. Not only does this stop his push, but now he has to spend 100 gas to remake that. He doesn't have energy. He doesn't have that for the defense of this drop that's about to come out.
And that Zealot's pretty useless at this point, especially with the Hellion out. So, yeah. This is like when you get cannon rushed and the guy doesn't realize that you need high ground vision, so he built all of his cannons on the low ground and has nothing to get up the hill. Well, that pylon's there. There's nothing to overcharge it. It's going to die. With all those canceled pylons and a great hold, Maru's in a great spot.
Yeah. Maru, this drop will do a lot of damage because there are only two Stalkers. That Zealot slowly trying to get its way back across the map. The Hellions coming across, as you mentioned, can easily kill the Zealot or just simply ignore it because it's not quick enough to keep up with them. And he doesn't have a mothership core. And even if he did, it would only have a little bit of energy. Okay, no, he did remake that. Okay, so he does have that mothership core, but it's only going to have a little bit of energy to overcharge with.
Yeah, and we're going to see simultaneous pressure here at the front and in the main here. Burrow on the Widow Mine. It does get down.
Oh,
only going to get 3 probes though, but still some successful harassment here. And I didn't actually get a chance to see what those Hellions were able to accomplish out front.
It looks like they tried to come in and there was an overcharge and they got warded away.
Oh,
nice
but a
snipe.
Even better overcharge there.
Yeah.
Takes out everything, and while there is that kind of soft contain with the Hellions out front, I don't know, does that even it up? I mean, that's a lot to lose on supply.
Losing that drop is pretty painful. He only got a few probe kills, and the Observer came out right afterwards. I think he, just cleared that Widow Mine. There was no way he was going to get a second shot, so this is Definitely a solid hold from Patience, despite not getting on the Mothership core right away. He had his units in position, he knew what he was dealing with. And now, you know, we're going to this mid-game. We will have to deal with this Liberator, but as the Observer already pointed out, there are 2 pylons in position. There is a third one to the top right, but not quite close enough, so this is kind of an issue here. He's going to lose some mining assets, and these Stalkers back there so far away.
Oh, that's just outside the range of that overcharged pylon. That's actually so sick. Not going to see the most success from that the Hellion in the natural, but even this is just actually so sick because now you have to pull all your Stalkers back.
He's going to lose several Stalkers too.
Oh wow, he's actually going to, okay, well he went for probes instead, but yeah, nice amount of harassment, 5 more probes dead, and if you look at the worker count, it's starting to make a difference.
And if you're ahead in workers as a Terran player, you also have mules, so never a good place to be as the Protoss. That follow-up drop really did a number on Patience, and because his Stalkers were out of position, it was really just an unfortunate circumstance, because then he had to also deal with the 1 heli, and so his Stalkers got further delayed, and all the mining time he lost there was terrible as well. So now he's going to try to transition into Blink and a 3rd base, and we do see these 2 forges come out fairly greedy, but if he gets away with it, obviously it's going to give him a nice upgrade lead once he gets those going.
Now, I almost thought that Maru saw that. Yeah, he did see the Observer. Okay, great. It wasn't just me. See, we can see the Observer because, of course, we have an entire PC screen just for the Observer. But it's a little bit harder when it's a unit in StarCraft, and so nice snipe there by Maru. He's got some turrets up in his main, so that's going to make this Warp Prism harassment maybe a little bit more difficult. But here comes Observer number 2 to see what Maru has cooking.
Yep, he wants to get some good information here with those Observers, of course, and this Observer is going to spot the drop, or, you know, the attack here, which may be split into a drop, we don't know. This is an attack designed to hit a 3rd base, which he's predicting is here. It's about to be, but it's not quite ready yet. Patience will have to clear this away first. He has an Immortal in several sentries, so fighting this is not going to be easy for Maru, but he's got great micro, and he has that Widow Mine in the mix as well, which makes this very difficult to engage into. And in fact, Patience is just simply going to surrender this location for the time being.
Yeah. I mean, Patience does have Blink up right now. He also has that Warp Prism if he needs to, if he wants to like pull that around the side for some flanks. But if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's the Warp Prism and okay, well, I guess they don't want to fight right now, but not going to go ahead and snipe that Warp Prism. Maru values his medevacs time more highly, ferrying more and more troops up here to pressure this 3rd
Well, he
base location.
he just simply denies this base for so long as a result, and because he can't get a 3rd base up, his economy is going to be quite stunted for a while.
Not the greatest force field. Blink being used defensively to run away, but now Patience back up against the pylon walls. Will it be enough to hold? That's a lot of Marines and Marauders, and not enough Stalkers.
Definitely not enough. The Widow Mines will burrow here as well. There's vision, but they're still going to get a shot if it actually snipes the Observer. And now this Widow Mine can't be dealt with unless he makes another one. He's got 3 on the map, but I think 2 of them are outside of the main. And now the secondary push is getting ready. And again, Patience just simply cannot take another base. It's almost as if he's forgotten about this. Yeah, I think you're on the money, Rapid, because I don't see you know, him utilizing it at all. It's only moving because it's attacked here, and Patience has just simply neglected it.
From that time we saw Liberators kill a Warp Prism Wolf.
Yeah, it was about right a second ago.
Hey, there you go. All right, well, that's what you build those Liberators for, is to keep that Warp Prism harass out of your base. Somehow, the lone and bravest Adept has made it into the natural, but not long for this world, and perhaps Patience meeting the same fate as the most unfortunate Adept in StarCraft.
Well, I mean, we'll see if he does. This is just so many units here. He elevators over the force fields. The 3rd base, he needs to hold it. If he doesn't hold it, this game is surely lost, because Maru just has such a large army. And, you know, he has 1-1 upgrades, so he has the upgrade advantage, but his army is too small. It's 30 supply larger, or excuse me, smaller than Maru's. And he didn't cancel that Nexus yet. It's only about 1/3 of the way built, so he's got plenty of time to do so. He's going to have to cancel it, though. He cannot gain control of this area. His ratio of Stalkers is so high that, yes, he can deal with the Liberators, but he's not going to be very good against this almost pure Marauder bio army here. And Maru is just going to start wailing away on these units and rip them apart.
Yeah, now Maru doesn't even have to fight this army out of position a little bit. He's going to go forward, almost committed a little bit too far, but now underneath his Liberation Zones, Patience just has no hope for success.
No way he's going to win this one. He's targeting down these Liberators. It means he's not dealing with the bio, and that is going to be game over here. GG, Maru takes game number 1.
And yeah, takes out Patience in game 1. It's actually a 2v1. Maru took out Patience and my vocal cords there at the end. So actually a god, and it's going to be awesome to see if Patience can bring it back here in game 2.
I think he certainly could, man, but we'll have to wait and see. That was just really a wonky game from the outset. You know, we had mistakes on both sides, but the biggest mistake of all was losing the prism, or not the prism, the mothership core to the Widow Mine. He knew there was a Widow Mine there. You flew it too close to not react quickly enough to get out of that threshold, that area, and losing that meant he had to remake that. It really affected how many units he had back at home.
Yeah, that's the Icarus mothership core. It flew too close to the sunny Widow Mine. That's your classical Greek literature reference for the day, guys. Go tell your parents you learned something, along with how to play StarCraft, which apparently what Maru is teaching us here tonight. One game away from advancing, not out of the group, but at least advancing on to the winner's match, which, because this is the KeSPA Cup, is coming up insanely fast.
That's true. I mean, Maru said in his interview he feels like this is his last tournament, and we'll see how he does with that. I mean, it's obviously going to be a tough road here to get out of this group even, but he's already got a great start. Patience, I like his decision to go double forge, but unfortunately it was just not able to amass enough units on 2 bases to hold the third, whereas Maru didn't even make a third CC, so he had those extra resources to just power out units on 2 base. He had a larger worker count, so he didn't have to keep making SCVs. And we see Marine Lord is down here.
Hey,
I know he's actually pretty close with Patience. He tweets at him a lot, so probably rooting for Patience in this moment.
There's his the Millennium Esport StarCraft 2 manager there along with him. In the audience, we had Neeb in the audience a few days ago as well. After crushing his group, we will see who crushes this one as we get into game number 2 on Frost.
Frost, 4-player map, definitely a lot more room to work with here. Probably going to be seeing a little bit of a longer game here. I think both players will be able to get those third bases out. But Maru, he already had a, kind of a cheesy opening on the table with that proxy barracks. He may have more in store here going to the second map, so I could be wrong. We could have another short game depending on how Maru wants to play it.
Well, when your proxy barracks don't work as well as Marine Lord, you gotta step up the game. So we'll see if he puts them in a different place or just plays a longer macro game. It's a 4-player map, and we are about to get into it. So get out there, tweet your friends. Let's get into game 2.